Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Online Karting League. This is the World Series. We are starting the night off with our juniors. I'm Sarno and I'm joined by Kyle Lawrence once again. Kyle, how are you doing today?
What's up, Buttercups? Good as always, man. Super excited for this evening's race. It's the venue for the 2024 Rotax Grand Finals. So a circuit some of these youngsters would have done some practice on, hoping to gain a ticket last season. But nice to open up round one at a circuit like this.
Yeah, such a big circuit. What's the lap times? 108. So it's fairly, well, a little bit bigger than most of the venues. Normally we see about, what, 40 to 50 second lap times on most of the circuits around the world. So this is one of the, similar to your Formula K and I think Campilos as well, big circuits.
Yeah, one of the longest in Europe. I think it was 1.8 or 1.6 kilometers, 1.6 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so
1.6.
pretty long circuit and pretty much flat out most of the lap. It's a very quick circuit, not a whole bunch of technicality. They have changed it in recent years, so there have been some major changes to the circuit, and very bumpy, Shan. Like this sector here, especially there, you can see it into the final corner. Massive amounts of bumps in there, but a lot of moves can be made during the race there.
Yeah, you'll see when we go on to the senior carts later on, how those carts fly over that. There's a big bump just before you hit that braking zone, so the guys are going to have to navigate it when they try and pass somebody. But with the juniors, it's pretty much, I think, slipstream central again. Like
another one of those circuits, with massive slipstreams. I don't think anybody's going to be able to get away. Lots of uses of curb around here. I was lucky enough to drive an E20 around this circuit, and at that weight, 230 kilogram with driver over those bumps was something else, man. I still feel like some of he's left on that circuit somewhere.
Whilst we wait for the practice session to finish, Kyle, let's have a quick look at the track map.
So, Circuito International Napoli, or Sarno as we all call it, like I said before, the venue for the 2024 Grand Finals. Into this first sector, a lot of passing can happen into that turn number 2 because of the way it widens up and tightens up again. And then through 3, 4, and 5, virtually a very quick sector down through 6 and 7. But here's where we saw the controversy in the Senior Max Final. A couple of drivers exiting the track there. But again, another one of the massive passing points is that turn number 8. But through 13, 14, and there's the bumpy 15, where we can see the change to the lead, hopefully on the last lap. But 1.6 kilometers, 16 corners, 2.48 meters of elevation, pretty much a flat track. So no real worry about corner exits. Well, you'll still have to worry about corner exits, but it won't be as vital. Normally that we see circuits with massive undulation. If you make any sort of mistake on the exit of any corner, it punishes you. Luckily, this circuit, not as much elevation.
Yeah, look, I think we finished that just in time as we go out into qualifying. The guys are going to spend a full lap just getting into those tires. If you guys didn't know that, we are racing with the MiniROK engines tonight. And we've got 8 juniors. There should be about 12 or 13 when everybody actually rocks up. But let's have a look at our entries. Alexander Prizovic, Miso Taperi, Max Bosov, Daniel Resende, Sissel Koorts, Liam Tekiso, Ruvan Maritz, and Rorisang Mafisa. It is pretty much an African grid. Pricevic, I guess he can call himself international because I believe he's Serbian of birth or nation, and well, he lives in South Africa, so he is South African. Then Miso Taperi, South African. Max Bosov, South African. Daniel Resende will be from Mozambique. Sissel Koorts, Namibia. Liam Tekiso, South African, Ruvan Maritz, and Rorisang Mafisa, all South Africans. We've got a couple of Namibians that's supposed to join tonight. Seem like they are having issues getting online. Kyle, who do you think is going to take pole position?
Oh, well, we've seen how quick Alexander Prasovic has been, especially in the junior classes, now in a mini. So hopefully that does translate. And Max Boshoff, one of the top front runners in the national mini-max category, and also one of the front runners we've seen quite often in OKL. When he keeps it on circuit, he's had a few offs recently. So I don't know. I think my money is on Alexander Prasovic here.
Yeah, I think if we just go by history within the South African Championship, Prasovic and Bosov will probably be the 2 drivers I would say keep an eye out for. Miso Taperi's been showing a lot of pace. I think he was just lacking in consistency in the in the previous races, so Tapedi could even be one of those drivers that pull through and show something special. Then also, just based off last year's OKL Worlds, Liam Tekiso was a surprise package, so we could see him maybe pull something out of that and be very competitive.
Yeah, we saw his turn of pace towards the end, but mind you, it was towards the end, so hopefully he's put a few more laps in here at Sarno than he did for that event, and we'll see him up there in qualifying. But right now, Ruvan Maritz, I think we're on board with him. No, he's...
no, we're on board with Boshoff.
Sorry, Boshoff. Max Boshoff with his extreme karting suit. I should have picked that up. Thank you so much for putting the names above the head, Shan. That makes my life a lot easier. But at the moment, there we go. Max Boshoff, first time in, 110.4. We saw 108s in practice though, Shan.
Yeah, we saw 108s. Here comes Tapedi. So far, Tapedi's leading the way after the first lap, but that's a 109. Oh, he slows down. Maybe he realized he didn't load his setup. That's also another thing that's new for these juniors, and that is open setups. They are not used to it. They've been absolutely spoiled with fixed setup in every single race they've raced since the start of OKL. So something new for these kids. It is now a World Series, and they need to start figuring out setting up these karts.
I quite like that actually, because normally it's please change this. I don't like understeer. I don't like oversteer. Now they've actually got to go do it themselves. And it might give them a bit more understanding, you know, into the real world. Because I've messed around a bit with the setup, and it seems pretty close. I wouldn't say it's spot on, but it's not far away. It's a nice little learning tool to get used to playing with your own kart.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of fundamentals I think you can pick up in the sim. You know, changing the gearing, what does it do, you know, and especially, you know, working around with your carb and stuff like that. Of course, how wide you want your kart to be in the front and the rear, and I'm not talking about pushing your elbows out, but just where do you want your grip to come from. I think that is something you can learn in the sim, which is quite nice.
Yeah, I think it's quite cool for these youngsters to get into it more than just the driving, because obviously driving makes a lot of difference, but you know, getting involved in the setup and making it work also helps a mass amount. Liam Tekiso donning his Sodi kart overalls. Oh, a lot of curb usage there. Saw a lot of that. That was almost a track limit. Over the line he goes. 108.3. Betters is 108.6. So we did say he had a turn of pace. It's nice to see he put some laps in and some practice. Miso Tapedi just over the line as well now. He's down in fourth. 1.3 seconds, a massive gap at the moment, but we'll see that close up as qualifying draws to a close.
I'm surprised that nobody's towing each other along. I don't understand. This is the mini space. This is exactly where you want your tow. And that is just tucking in behind somebody about half a second behind him. And by the time you head into turn 2, you would have gained half a second on your own lap time. So very interesting that the boys aren't pulling each other along and everybody's find a nice little gap, just doing their own thing.
Shad, I'll be dead honest. I wouldn't tow you along in a qualifying for a World Series. it's not going to happen. Like, I don't see a lot of teammates out here together. So,
well,
you know, there's no double extreme drivers. There's no double RKT drivers.
There's them. There's 2 Kart Republic drivers at least, which will be Tapedi and Rorisang Mafisa.
Okay, then I don't understand why they're not towing each other.
Yeah, so interesting there. And let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. Here's Tapedi on his own. I see Ruvan Maritz, for some reason, left and came back in. Let's just quickly have a look at what's happening there. Oh, his name's only showing up. On the timing sheet, he's showing up twice. Interesting. Okay, well, weird. As long as he's racing, I guess it doesn't matter. If he's got a number 1 kart or if he's got a number 300, what's that? 388, he's good to go.
Yeah, he's on the track either way.
Yeah.
So 8 minis, we were expecting about 12. Jan, we obviously were missing a couple that couldn't quite make it on or had issues or connection or schoolwork that wasn't completed. But yeah, a good race with 8 minis.
Yeah, I mean, what we've seen in the past with minis is there could be 3 of them and they'll make it exciting. Because they just drag each other along, the fighting is nice and close. Which is also another very interesting thing that I'm seeing right now is normally these gentlemen are racing from the start of practice all the way till the last lap in the final, and I'm very surprised at nobody fighting with each other on track. Maybe the kids have learned throughout the year already in their previous South African and African races where it's just no point, you're just throwing away your own lap time.
Yeah, fighting over it and trying to pass each other, although I have been to a couple of the Champions of the Futures events in the Mini 60 class with 30 of them, And not only in qualifying do you have to set a good time in the right group, but you got to defend from the driver behind you all the way through qualifying as well. So it becomes quite a bit of a mix-up in that 10-15 kart group. Surprised to see these drivers. There's a couple of drivers here with European experience, but they're deciding to go it on their own. The track isn't all that busy, only 8 drivers out there, so maybe not a bad strategy. You don't want to tow another competitor along up ahead of you. So rather just go set the time alone if that's what everybody else is doing. 108.2 now from Liam Tekiso, so he is absolutely flying at the moment. Glad to see he put some effort in and some extra hours on the sim.
Yeah, Tekiso right now, like I said, we were saying Prasovic and Bosov, but Tekiso is just showing everybody that there's a lot of pace when you put in some extra seat time.
Yeah, Bolshov currently 1.6 seconds off the 108.2. Liam Tekiso set Daniel Rosende and Alexander Prasovic very close together, but still more than half a second off him. So Tekiso really found a turn of pace. Maybe he just got the setup right, spent more hours on the track, and he's got that thing dialed in very properly. Because a 108.2 again now. Here's Roy-Sang Mafisa, another Kart Republic driver. A little bit wider of that curve than we've seen everybody else. Let's see where he moves himself up.
Just saw a message from their coach on the side screen asking them to load their setups because he doesn't think they're running setups, the ones that they're supposed to be running. So very interesting. 2.8 seconds. Mafisa is quite far back. That's a big gap between first and 8th place.
Yeah, it's not a gap we're used to seeing. Cecil Courts there down in 7th. Maybe another driver that didn't quite get the setup right. And Max Borshoff, I mean, that surprises me with Jason in his corner. He goes over the line now. Does he better it? No, still 1.7 seconds off.
Now let's just listen to that kart. Let's actually go on board with him and just see, because it does seem like he's not running. He hasn't found his gearing.
I don't have volume on my phone.
That's fine. I'll listen to it. Now that kart sounds dead coming out of the corner. Or he gets it all kinds of wrong going into the right-hander there.
So a little bit too long on the ratio there, not being able to get out of corners. At least he's got the legs down the straight. That'll be interesting in the race with the slipstream. But it's going to be difficult to race from 1.7 seconds off the leader.
It hits the limiter quite quickly, so I wonder, you're running his gears completely wrong there. You want more top speed, right? And then make the carb work harder for you at the bottom and then make that thing move along. Right
yeah, in a second, I guess when you're flat out as much as you are, you would need it to not hit the limiter, because these things limited at I think 15,000.
Yeah, he's hit his limiter way too quickly, so his gear's definitely off there. Crosses the line now for his. Well, he's going to start one more lap. Who's behind him? Let's have a quick look on track. Kurtz. I think Kurtz also made it through to start another lap. Pricevic might be done. 8/10 of the pace. Wow, that's a big gap. Liam Tekiso coming out and just showing everybody where the pace is at.
Oh, how much curve do you like it, Tepedi? That's not going to help a lap time. It is his last one.
He made time, but it was only 10 milliseconds, so not enough.
Roy-Sang Mafisa, we haven't seen him leave the service, so go to the pit. So I'm sure he hasn't set anything up either on that kart. He's still
very wide there on the exit.
Yeah, he's struggling with the setup there, or struggling with that kart. Over the line he goes, bails out of that lap, still 2.8 off. Ruvan Maritz,
let's see,
1.1 off the pace in his previous lap time. Snaps it in hard, using a lot of the track right on the edge of the white line coming in there. Over the curb he goes, not using as much as we've seen Tekiso use. Opens the steering wheel to get down to the main straight as fast as possible. Over the line he goes. Nope. And no improvement there. 1.131. Max Borshoff and Alexander Prasovic now about to cross the line. Prasovic second, half a second off. Max Borshoff, same place, 1.7 seconds off the pace.
Alright, so that is the end of qualifying. Tekiso just showing everybody what he's made of. A 108.209. We are going to start something new with these youngsters today. This will be the first time they all get to do a... Whoopsie. Interesting.
A rolling start?
Yeah, they'll do a rolling start for the first time. But I see somebody has done a rolling start before the actual start. So they'll probably do a quick reset there. Give them another chance to get back at it. Seems to be a little bit of a bug on the starting location there. I don't know if you've seen that, Kyle. But all the cards are starting with their rears on the box there. Interesting.
Get a little couple of extra meters there.
Yeah.
I suppose if it's the same for everybody, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Interesting. Very, very interesting there.
I must say that Vortex does look good. I don't. Something that you guys have put together for OKL and with Pavisa. Very, very cool on that card.
Sorry, say again. I lost you there for a second.
No problem. I'm saying the Vortex looking lovely on these cards. Something that you OKL and Pipe put together. Very, very, very cool.
Yeah, they look nice. The OKJs we're racing as well later on. Also looks quite nice. Excited for that one.
What's the hold up here, Shan?
Waiting on everybody to join the grid.
Right. Obviously, drivers making some quick changes before we go out for their first race, their pre-final. 6-lap race. It says 7 up there, I think, but that's obviously with the formation lap included.
Max is reconnecting. He's having issues getting onto the server. He might have to skip the pre-final, though. Let's have a quick look whilst we wait for everybody to get on, just to see if he's going to make it in.
Well, it says he has connected now, so let's see if he does make it into the race.
But you'll see there on the right-hand side, it says sync, which means he's trying to get in still. And he might not make it in time, though. He's probably not. So Max will have to start the final at the back at this rate. Yeah, he's going to start at the back.
So Max Borshoff, unfortunately, starting on the back foot already into the final. Not able to make the grid for our pre-final. So of course, getting a little bit of extra heat into those tires as we all get moving for the rolling start. Ruvan Marit's a bit slow to get going.
Yeah, I'm not sure what... okay. Not sure what's happening here. Why is everybody... Something new for the juniors, I suppose. Learning curve for them. And we'll just have to be patient there for a second.
I wonder if this gives Max more time to get in.
I really have to make a habit of switching my phone off during commentary because my phone lights up. And there's so many people asking questions when we're trying to race. Let's see. Let's get the boys back. I think a couple kids might have realized that they need to load the setups again. There we go. Probably don't want to be moving your steering wheel too much, Cecil Quirts, and get yourself an unnecessary disqualification. But now this is just wasting time, and it's obviously going to cause delays for the next round of guys that need to come online, which will be the seniors. Hopefully we get a smoother setup through there, but I think the seniors are quite used to the rolling starts by now. Got Liam on track, Pricevic on his outside.
Yeah, this run down to turn one are very much a flat out corner. It's more turn 2 where these carts can start fanning out and looking for space. And the thing is that that's quite a long apex, so you stay off the inside for quite a long time around that right-hander. So it does, you know, give the opportunity for a driver to kind of sneak it up there onto the inside on the second part of turn 2. Liam Taki saw a bit of a roll there. I wonder if that's not going to be a DQ for the start. Moving forward again.
I think the lights went out, right? Let's have a quick look. Yeah, the boys just need to start going. Formation lap. Why are we not going, gentlemen? Come on, kids, let's get going.
So hopefully if they can hear us on stream, or if someone's at least on the Discord with them, Liam, it's time for you to get moving, bud.
I find it interesting that the kids struggle with this, though, because they all race real life.
And it's exactly the same as IRL. You're just starting from the grid.
Yeah.
So we got Cecil Courts already with a DNF. I'm not sure what happened there.
This is starting to be a little bit of an annoyance.
Slightly frustrating to say the least, I think.
Yes.
Surely by now Max has been able to reconnect.
Apologies about that, ladies and gentlemen. We are waiting for the juniors to figure out how to put their foot down and start driving forward for the formation lap. It is generally as simple as just putting your foot on the throttle and we can get going.
I think if any of these delays continue, we might have to go straight into the final regardless. Still waiting for our youngsters to load in and get going.
So they were trying to wait for Max actually. I checked the admin chat here, trying to get him online, not working, so I guess we're gonna get going.
Okay, our apologies. We were accusing the lighties of the problem, but it seems that we were just waiting for
unfortunately, Pricevic got a disqualification, and there's been 3 restarts. So that means
we are going ahead.
And Bossov is out, yeah.
So Pricevic and Borsov will start from the back. 6 minis on the go for our pre-final. 6-lap pre-final, around a 1.6 kilometer circuit. Liam Tekiso clearly not happy with something. I'm not sure what it is that he's unhappy with. Maybe he's just bound the wrong button to the wrong thing. But 378 is our pole sitter. Liam Tekiso behind him. Daniel Resende from Mozambique. Meso Depedi in 3rd place behind that. Ruvan Maritz in 4th. Cecil Courts, the Namibian, down in 5th place. And Rorisang Mafisa, we saw him struggling in qualifying, so hopefully he's got his setup jacked up. And he's ready for this pre-final. The MTKs will take us around quite quickly at least. He hasn't started bunching up just yet. Down towards the hairpin we go.
Yeah,
this used to be the original. This will be the original turn 2, which was changed a couple of years back. And the new segment added here, as well as onto the main straight as well. That whole new chicane and that final corner with a lot of bumps. Here we go into it. This is where we should see them bunching up. There's the MTKs slowing down the pack. Daniel Resende.
I wonder if everybody's just going to move a position forward, or if they are just going to leave the gap on the outside.
No, it looks like they're leaving the gap. Daniel Resende would have gone up. He's gone to second place, so they're not leaving that gap. He's going to take this opportunity. Both hands out. So we've got all 6 of our carts going into the tram lines now, waiting for the start. Liam Tekiso quite quick there. Daniel Resende falling behind. He needs to pick it up, otherwise row 2 is going to have a terrible start.
He's leaving the gap.
He hasn't. So he's left the gap. On the gas we go. He's left the gap from the wrong side of the grid, though. He should have been behind Liam Tekiso if that's what he was going to do. Ruva Maritz, the big winner now, into this double apex turn 2. Liam Tekiso knows about it. He goes defensive. Opens it up, though, to get to the apex. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Ruva Maritz able to sneak it up before the apex of turn 2. We saw that happen all the way through. Oh, down the inside, Liam Tekiso, full send. I didn't expect that from him at all. Great move, but that's loud. Daniel Resende, it's 3 abreast into the chicane. 3 into 1 generally doesn't go, and Daniel Resende is the big loser there. Contact behind him, though. I might have up Mr. Tapedi, big down the inside with Ruva Moritz. Ruva Moritz trying to keep that second place. Miso Tapedi taking the opportunity while he can and trying to get past Daniel Resende. Resende all over the curb. That's Miso Tapedi getting past. But he hasn't given up just yet. Down the inside of the left-hander, Cecil Quartz is able to move up past Tapedi now.
Oh, big nudge on the back there.
Yeah, Cecil Quartz saying, let's get a hurry up. I wonder if that wasn't a nose cone. He goes to the outside. Over the bumps they go. Oh, Resende shutting the door hard on them on the outside there. To be fair, though, Cecil wasn't quite ready. But all of this has given to Kiso and Moritz a lot of breathing room. And we saw how fast Kiso was in qualifying.
Yeah, just listen to all of them limit. They're gearing. By far, they've got it wrong somewhere, guys. Here comes Miso down the inside now.
Oh, he definitely hasn't got his getting right. He just blows past Daniel Resende there. It's almost like he had the brake on. Miso Tapedi.
Oh, 3-4-4 flipped, I think. Oh, he landed back on his wheels. Hurt his neck there for a moment, but he's okay. It seems like he's fine.
There's good full all over. Tapedi and Daniel Resende to fight unhampered without him getting involved. He was in fourth there behind Resende. But it's not Tapedi that is up into third place, saying, come on, let's go get the leaders. So the two of them trying to work together to catch onto the back of Ruva Moritz. I don't think they're going to get on. Oh, Mr. Tapedi having to defend there from Resende. Resende down. Resende sends it. It's not going to be enough. Tapedi wants to get onto the leaders, but Daniel Resende wants to get past. You can see the difference in gearing as we head into the tight section. Resende with massive amounts of power out the corners, but Tapedi just able to blow past him in a straight line. A little bit of rubbing and racing there into the final corner, and this is where we'll see the difference in gearing.
Wow.
There you'll see the difference in gearing. That's what I say. Daniel was able to just drive past him coming out of a corner, but this is where it hampers him. Watch down the straight. Resende already into the limiter. Tapedi right onto his back bumper. We saw how big the gap was coming out of the corner, and Tapedi is just going to blow on past again.
So it seems like Miso Tapedi's setup is to keep momentum. If he, I think he's just turning that cart too much, and he's losing too much through the corner. And then he needs to work hard on that top end. But Resende's he's throwing everything into the corners. Wow,
no, definitely what's happened there. What's happened there is Resende's gone short on the ratio. Tapedi's gone long on the ratio. So Tapedi's got everything for the top end, while Daniel Resende with the biggest sprocket on the back there is able to drive out of the corner. So Resende's got the bottom end and Tapedi the top end. So you'll see here when it gets tighter, Daniel's able, when he doesn't make a mistake. And maybe, Tapedi right into the back of him there, almost spins it.
Takiso has just checked out.
Yeah, 1.7 seconds now to Moritz. All this fighting between Resende and Tapedi has just meant that Moritz has got a little bit more breathing room. He didn't quite have the pace in qualifying. You can see him looking over his shoulder already, though, as Daniel Resende's got a bit of breathing room away from Tapedi. How quickly can he close that gap? It is about 1.3 seconds at the end of this lap. Let's see what happens when we end this. I think, is this not the final lap, Shan, or second to last lap?
Second to last. I see somebody's asking in the chat as well, why did Priceovich get a disqualification? So let us quickly just explain the starting procedure. So whilst you stand on grid, if you get a disqualification or disconnect or anything, we'll restart 3 times. On the third restart, we'll say that's the third and final, and we'll go. Whoever gets disqualified while standing on the grid in the third restart, we'll get going without you. Otherwise, we're going to spend the whole night waiting for the drivers to sort out internet issues or anything like that. So Priceovich unfortunately got a disqualification on that third and final restart, and we had to get going without him. So that means he'll start at the back in the final, which is not too bad because there's only 7 carts. Unless Max makes it into the final, which could be 8, but still, that's a very small field, so easy to work your way through if you've got your gearing right. Yeah, to beat DSQ, though, obviously he rolled when he landed on the grid, so if you do move before the lights go out, you are immediately disqualified. So that is probably what happened to him on the third restart. He rolled in his grid box, and that was it. DSQ, and off we go with the start. Ruvan Moritz, though, under massive pressure from Daniel Resende. He's brought that gap down huge in the last lap. He's now within probably about half a second. And I think that's where the slipstream is going to make a difference. Yeah, Daniel's only big problem is down the straight he's going to be a sitting duck. But it seems like what he's gone with in his gearing works out for him a lot better than the guys going for the top speed.
Yeah, we see now this is where Daniel is quick. It's into this tight sector right before the final corner, and that's where you want to be fast going into the final lap or about to get the checkered flag. 6 out of 7 completed. Here's Ruvan Moritz already looking behind him, trying to block off. He's going to have to go defensive. Daniel Resende already down the inside long before the corner. It's going to be enough to make the move. Oh, it was very much a block pass. He definitely forced the issue, but he did get the move done. And it's Daniel Resende past Ruvan Moritz. And is this the flag, Shan? 7 out of 7? Or is this one to go?
Of our final lap.
So start of our final lap.
Last lap.
And our leader, 5.6 seconds ahead of anybody else behind him. Liam Takiso absolutely on fire. The only real battle we have on track now is for second place. It's Daniel Resende from Ruvan Moritz. It looks like Ruvan, with the longer gearing in the first sector, can hang on, but is it enough for him to get past in the final sector? He's got the slipstream to help him. We're going to head down to the hairpin. Resende makes a mistake. Is it going to be enough for Moritz to make the move? Resende goes defensive early. Moritz going to try around the outside. It's the long way around. He can't quite get the cutback done.
Oh, this is where Daniel's faster.
That's what I'm saying. It looks like Daniel Resende is going to get away with this. Oh, Ruvan looked for a quick sneaky move down the inside. Couldn't quite get it done. And let's see if that bottom end helps Resende down in this last sector. Tight he goes. Make sure he goes defensive. He's going to go defensive early here for the final corner. Yes, he does. Leaves the outside to Ruvan Moritz, but is it enough?
Oh, no, he opened it.
Down the inside. Daniel Resende opened the door and allowed both Moritz and Tapedi to come through. Liam Takiso has crossed the line already as our winner. We're going to head for a race to the line between Moritz, Tapedi, and Resende. But that's how it's going to finish. Ruvan Moritz in second place, Mr. Tapedi in third, and Daniel Resende in fourth. We thought the gap in lap times was not going to bring us a race, but were we wrong, Shan?
Wow,
Clearly we were wrong.
What an epic... that's the one cool thing we're seeing now is it's open setup. Some of those three guys fighting has gone completely opposite ways with their setups, and they gave us something very interesting.
Absolutely fantastic to watch. Last lap, last corner maneuver. Tapedi, I wonder if they got time to change the gearing now between pre-final and final. So it'll be interesting to see what they change now after this final.
The nice thing about the sim is it's instant, right? So you don't have to worry about your mechanic having to take a sprocket off or change anything. It is a couple clicks and we're good to go. Instant change.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I have never raced an OKL series with open setup, so I've never even opened the setup page except to play with it. So I don't know if there's time between the races on the sim if you can actually go into your setup. You know, the T4 is a lot simpler. We don't have to change anything. We just go race. Us masters, we don't have to put too much work in it. Lazy.
Yeah. Arrive and drive specialists.
Arrive and drive specialists, absolutely. Nice to see good clean racing. Well, I say good clean. It was rather aggressive, but you know, everybody stayed on the track.
Yeah, it was side pods, which is okay, I guess. They were rubbing side pods instead of you know, ramming into the rear of a cart, pushing him off the track.
No, 100% aggressive, but everybody stayed on track.
Okay, the one benefit is we are for the juniors, since it's all Africans, they are racing on the South African server, so lower ping, which generally means the netcode isn't as bad. If that was on the European server with the guys with higher ping, somebody would have been yeeted off into the abyss, unfortunately, with a hard send like that. So we might see the guys drive a little bit more conservative in the seniors race compared to the juniors. These minis, they don't care. They just go hard.
I saw a little bit of a roll from Takiso. I hope that's not going to be a DSQ and a restart.
Should be okay.
A 10-lap final here, so 9 racing laps, 1 warm-up. Placevic at the back of the grid. We are still short of Boshoff.
Yeah, it seems like he's got issues getting on, unfortunately. So
it's the underwater cable. It must be the underwater cable.
Yeah, it will be that will be Boshoff's 1 drop round. Here we go. Start 7 carts on the grid.
I must say, Shan, before we get started, I do like this OKL kit you've come up with.
Like a base kit, yeah. We still need to give the juniors more love. We need to add some more liveries for them. But yeah, it does look good.
Keep calling them juniors, they're minis. So.
Yeah, for us it's a junior category. Call it whatever you want, I don't care. It's not my fault. The world in the real life they split you guys into 50 different categories. For us, there's juniors and seniors.
Yeah, fair enough. And masters, let's not forget about ourselves here, Shan.
Yeah, but in the World Series, it's juniors and seniors. The Masters race with the seniors because there won't be enough Masters. It seems like it's only us that like to race the karts in the sim.
And the problem is 90% of the time you and I are sitting in the commentary booth commentating on the racing, so we won't be in the race. Slowing it down now. Oh, no, actually, no, I'm a bit early. But Liam Tkiso getting some heat in his tires. I did hear you.
Both those hairpins are like exactly the same. Like when you come from the angle we watch, I've been caught off guard with that first hairpin a couple times now as well, making exactly the same mistake than what you just did. Like, wait, we've got a whole sector to go before we get to the start.
Don't worry, I think I did it 4 times on the live stream for the grand finals, so it catches me out every time. But into the start we go. Liam Tkiso backing him up nicely. Riva Maritz in second place there. I wonder if he's going to try and run around the outside and sneak back up for the second. It looks like Resende is having some confusion. There we go. He's back into his line. And we've got them all bunched up. Brasovic getting forced out of the tram line.
They might get away with that.
He's back in, so we're ready to get going.
There we go.
And we are green, and we are going to have.
He's going to restart because of Mafisa. That was on the wrong side there. I was going to say they might get away with it because of the tram lines. It's like 5 kilometers long. But no, the race director decided, nope, not working for me. We're going to do that again.
Yeah. So, false start. Does that mean we lose a lap of racing as well, sir?
Yes, unfortunately. It's not like the real life where you can just say, let's go another one. They unfortunately lose a lap.
Yeah, timing isn't manually done. The computer does, the simulation does it for you. And this game not set up to mimic rolling starts, unfortunately. It is one of the most important things in karting to get right, though. So as a simulation, I think it is definitely something they need to work on.
So there is rolling starts in KRP. We can set it to automatically do the rolling starts. But it is so sensitive that half the grid will be disqualified before they actually cross the line first time.
So an opening of parameters needs to be...
Yeah, so the problem is if you leave too much of a gap between yourself and the kart in front, like 5, 6, 7 karts, the game will give you a couple warnings and then boot you off. Because you're not supposed to leave that gap. So if you can follow the rules, yes, then it works. I've tested it multiple times. And it does work easily when you understand it. Alright, here we go.
So just phase period in. Onto the main straight we go again. It looks like everybody's in the right place. Yeah, Cecil Courts there, Prosovic, Mafisa. Yeah, we're all good. Daniel Resende still leaving a big gap there. Oh,
come on. That's another lap gone. That will be another formation.
Oh, I wonder what happened there.
Somebody who was behind Tkiso there because he just clipped him on the rear. We did it so well the first time around. We've lost 2 laps now. For no reason.
Maybe a shorter final. Tkiso just taking it easy to get back.
No, the race director's gone with the restart. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Because that delays the big boys coming in, which are supposed to be starting in 15 minutes time. And of course, I can't jump off for driver's briefing because I'm commentating here with you, Kyle.
Well, I can also, run a solo if need be.
Are you going to take control of my computer?
No, I much prefer you to be here with me. All right, yeah, you handle the cameras. I'm here now. I've come back. Sorry, brain slip.
Maybe one day when we're big enough, we can have a separate production team. That would be really great.
One day when we grow up. One day when the sponsors allow. When are those sponsors coming, guys? We're waiting for you. Get in touch with Shan. Let's make this happen, ladies and gents. It's far cheaper to go racing online than it is in the real world. We can grow karting from here.
For sure. And with Max Verstappen doing a lot of work on the sim, growing a proper sim division and opening potentially the door for guys to come through the ranks.
Well, he's already moved a lot of his. I think the majority of his drivers in his Verstappen.com team come from in the IRL GTs come from SimWorld.
Yeah.
And I think everybody's worried about him moving to Aston. I think he might be making a move to Verstappen.com.
Yeah, for sure. We've lost the driver, Cecil Quartz, so we're not doing a restart there. Doesn't seem like it. Nope, never mind. The director was falling asleep there for a moment. Maybe he went to go get coffee. And he was like, oops, we got somebody missing. And that's me jabbing at my own brother who's the race director, guys, just so you know.
Everybody's worried about this poor man sitting in the background getting chipped online. Don't worry, guys. They
family love.
Okay.
Family love.
Right, as we wait to get started for our minis.
I should probably just make an announcement of the delay for the driver's briefing. Right, here we go once again. Hopefully this time around the boys behave and we can get going.
Yeah, let's hope the first time is a winner. We don't have to do another restart. Don't want to lose laps. We want the full final, full race final. Don't want to have to.
Hopefully all the kids also got their setups loaded this time around.
Yeah, there was quite a variance in sprocketing, it seemed, in the pre-final. So I wonder if anybody's actually gone and changed gearing before this final. Liam Tekiso, though, didn't have to change anything because he just bolted off into the front, 5.8 seconds ahead after 6 laps. He's got an extra 4 laps. I wonder if he could get to 10 seconds, Shan. He's been that fast.
Yeah, hopefully the guys don't fight as hard behind him and they kind of give us a good fight for P1 instead of a good fight for P2.
Looking at the pace that Liam had, Ruvan had a good 4 laps to try and hang on to his bumper undeterred, and there was no possible way for him to stay in touch. So I think Liam just has that kind of pace underneath him as he backs it all up for the start of the final. Ruvan Marit staying in single file as long as he could there. Didn't want to get too much dirt on his tires.
2 Cot Republic boys together.
Yep. 3 I see, actually. No, sorry.
No, Sodi and CRG in front.
Yeah, Sodi and CRG.
This looks much better this time around.
Waiting for our race director to say green, 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 green is given. Racing, we are Ruben Maritz early to the inside. He's decided to open it up on Liam Tekiso. Is he going to look down the inside into turn 2 like we saw in the pre-final? Oh, contact! He was looking for the inside. Liam Tekiso came over. Now we're going to see how good that pace is. Because Liam Tekiso, we said he could probably pull a 10-second gap. Now he's going to do it from the back of the grid. Ruben Maritz, unfortunately, making contact with him into turn number 2. Obviously, looking for that inside line like he did previously. He's looking the wrong way, though, because Daniel Resende is down his inside into the chicane. He manages to hold off there, but is it going to be enough to hold off down the long drag into what was the original turn number 2? On the brakes they go. Daniel Resende, full send down the inside. Is it too much? Because Ruben Maritz looks like he's got the cutback.
Nope, that pull out of the corner. Wow.
No, it's massive. It definitely is a sprocket difference. But it's not. It doesn't seem as bad as it did in the pre-final. So I wonder if Ruben Maritz did have time to maybe go up a couple of teeth so he could fight Daniel Resende a bit harder. Looking further back, though, it looked like Liam Tekiso was already up 2 spots.
Yeah, he's already coming back at these boys. So now, I guess Liam did that on purpose. He wanted to give us a good show. That's all calculated. Look at him go. Yep. Wow, look at that face on the back. If I can just find his name on the timing sheet, there we go.
Yeah, I keep stopping at JG.
Yeah.
He's absolutely flying. Around the outside of Mafisa, he's heading now into turn 2. We're on board with him. On the brakes he goes. I thought he'd be gone. There was
again.
No.
So
oh, now he's got work. So, if we didn't think he had enough work previously, he's definitely got his work cut out from now with the nose cone penalty as well. I think. No. No nose cone there.
Might get away with that. Maybe netcode saved him there for a bit. But that's unfortunate. Wow, that's very, very unfortunate. Look at Resende. He's pulling away, actually, from Maritz. But this is where we should see Maritz get closer. Oh, no, we're still on the infield. Resende should actually still break away here for a bit. Let's see if we can go on board and see. Oh, that's the wrong way. Still the wrong way. There we go.
There we go. It's amazing we have all these camera angles on these cars because of a big... Oh, there's those bumps. I mean, you saw Resende. Yeah, you saw him catch up onto the back of Resende through that section. We're going to head on to the main straight.
Yeah, he should catch him a lot.
Yeah, so just after turn 1 is where we should see him reel Resende in. So
he's also hitting the limiter.
So maybe not, you know, maybe a tooth or two difference as opposed to the big difference we saw between Takiso and the rest. It's actually really not that bad. So Maritz must have changed his sprocket in between the pre-final and the final.
Yeah.
Because in the pre-final it was massive.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Further back, there's some fighting happening. Pricevic and Tapedi.
It was more so Tapedi that had the top end on everybody else than it was
that's true, yeah.
Maritz and Resende. We saw the bottom end that Resende and Maritz did have. So it was pretty much Tapedi that had the longest sprocket on. I wonder if he's still running it. Head down the straight we go. Mafisa getting swarmed again. He went defensive, but opens the door for the
back on his teammate.
Oh, solid. We disappeared for a second there. Solid cutback. Such a great cutback. He disappeared on my screen for 10 seconds. Tapedi, quick switch down the inside through there. Contact between the two. And that slowed him down some more. So Tapedi really not having a good go at things to get past Mafisa.
What's happening right now? Pricevic is sending Mafisa into the tires.
To be fair, Mafisa was coming across him quite hard. So
yeah.
I think they were all fighting for the same piece of tar there. And unfortunately, Takiso already on the back of Mafisa. Mafisa moving over again, already with the cart down his inside. So Takiso just making sure he knows he's there. Showed him the side pod, and he's got that move done and dusted. Down towards turn 2 we go. Still on board with Takiso while the fight happens in front of him between Tapedi and Prasovic. But they're up into 4th and 5th.
There's a gap between them already.
Yeah, okay. So Tapedi already losing out on Prasovic. So Prasovic getting to pull away. But this is where we saw Tapedi suffer. But onto the long straights, though, is where he shines. Onto the back of Prasovic, he goes down the long straights. But out the corner,
let's have a look.
Nowhere near as much.
We'll follow Tapedi here for a moment and see what that difference is on the straight when we actually get to the long 3 kilometer straight in the go-kart.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, he has already a little bit of a straight, and we see him pull onto the back of Prasovic. So Prasovic, he's going to go around the outside of him. There's going to be a cutback. What a cutback it was. He's been doing that all night, actually, to be fair. And he's out. If he stopped using that curb, however, Takiso just behind him. So Takiso already making his way up the field, making sure he's going to bag some points tonight. Doesn't want to end up having to use this as one of his drop rounds.
Yeah, he's at least scored maximum points in the pre-final, which will be about 10 points less than a victory in the final. So Takiso doesn't want to throw away any more points. He's going to want to get as much as he can from this race.
Yeah, at the moment 9.6 seconds away from the leader. So unless something happens between Resende and Maritz over the course of the next 4 laps, I don't see Takiso getting back onto the top step of the podium. But a podium is not out of the question, because just in front there, we saw him on screen. Cecil Courts, what a drive. That sprocket is perfect. The gearing is perfect on that car of Takiso.
Yeah, he's got everything dialed in. He's definitely got the correct carb setting, because he's got really good pull out of that corner.
On the back of Tapedi was too late to go defensive. He was too busy smashing his steering wheel. Tapedi trying that cutback, but the gearing just not there for him.
That carb setting with some good gear setting on that kart will make that thing pull out of the corner and still give you a lot on the straight.
There's Tapedi with a straight line, though. Did you see how quickly he pulled onto the back of him? So Tapedi, now he's got to push from Pricevic. They're going to go 3 abreast into turn 2.
He did what he needed to do.
Go.
He just needed to be in front of him through this section. And he'll pull away now.
This is where he goes. Yep, this is where he goes. He absolutely... Sorry, my iRacing has just popped up and I've lost the screen. There we go. I'm back.
Tapedi's holding on to him, though. He's keeping the momentum through the corners at the moment.
Yeah, there is quite a fast sector, that first sector, before we head down into this hairpin, and this is obviously a long straight. So Takiso did have to go defensive there. You heard Tapedi coming right at the end, but that gearing's so long, it only really works on the main straight.
Look at that gap.
Yeah, out the corners he just doesn't have it. As on a price of it's also all over him as well. So out of the tighter stuff, it's just not working for Tapedi.
I think the setup for Tapedi... I think the setup for Tapedi was meant for him to not lose as much momentum through the corners. But of course he's fighting half the grid constantly, which forces him to go on a line he doesn't necessarily want to go. And that's where he's losing all that momentum he wanted on that kart.
Yeah, I definitely would have gotten bigger, a couple of teeth on that sprocket than for this race.
We've lost Quirts, have we not?
No, Quirts
flickering on my screen there for a moment, but I got him. Koorts, the Namibian. So we've got an what's the correct word? Yeah, a nice majority of nationalities in the top 3. Mozambique, South Africa, and Namibia at the moment. So that's really good to see. A great variety of nationalities.
Variety, I think, was what I was
nice looking
mix.
for.
Yeah, I think variety was the first word you were looking for. Cecil Courts, though, it's not going to be long that he's going to be in that 3rd place. He's got 2 laps left to go, and the pace of Tekiso is frightening.
Yeah.
He's closed down 2.5 seconds in 2 laps while making overtakes.
Yeah,
so Cecil Courts is already
he's going to send it down into the last corner. Good,
yep,
looking
he's
over
looking
his
at the
shoulder.
inside.
Nope.
There we go. Tekiso's got it done.
Here comes the cutback.
Cutback. Is it enough?
Nah, he's got the inside on the curve there. He's going to be good. Just don't touch each other.
Space just in case. He's giving space just in case.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
This is where we see the ratio and gear difference. Court's still looking up the inside, but that's pretty much done.
It's good racing between the two, showing each other a lot of respect on track so far, which is great because we haven't seen that necessarily with the other guys racing each other. So it's good.
It's been a bit of argy-bargy. Cecil Courts, though, still not giving up. Having a look down on the inside, Tekiso was wise too. He opened the door just enough so that they didn't make contact. So wise driving from Liam as well. And he's been absolutely frightening at how fast he's been tonight.
Yeah, and he's too much to do now. A podium, a 3rd place is pretty much the best he can get unless something chaotic happens up front.
Yeah, from dropping down to the back of the grid twice, though, I must add, Shan. So
yeah,
he did drop down to the back of the grid twice and have to work his way back up. So great drive from Liam there. In the front, though, 1.3 seconds between Daniel Resende out in front. It'll be his first victory, I think, in OKL that I've seen. So Daniel Resende, what a time to take your first victory. He's got 1 more lap still to go. And here at the World Series, if he can maintain this 1.6 second lead, he'll be able to take home his first OKL victory and have it at a World Series event as well.
Yeah, I think he might have won a race previously. Well, not on stream, but post-race penalties that was applied to other drivers in front, and then he got a victory like that. But on track, it's been Daniel Resende in this final. Unfortunately, Tekiso getting the short end of the draw there with a couple exchanges, and he was facing the wrong way a couple times. So Daniel Resende showing us keeping it clean, running a completely different gear ratio than anybody else, and it's worked out for him.
Yeah, it's definitely paid off for him in this final. And, Tekiso had faced the wrong direction twice, unfortunately, not making his life easy. And Ruvan Maritz didn't make it too easy for Daniel either in the opening stages, but he managed to check out a little bit, give himself some breathing room. He's going to head into the final corner now and cross the line in this first round of the World Series and this first final of the series. He's going to cross the line, the winner. A big celebration of the line from him. So Daniel Resende from Mozambique, it takes the win ahead of Ruvan Maritz. Liam Tekiso, great recovery from him after facing backwards twice. He's up to 3rd. Cecil Courts, our Namibian driver, in 4th place. Alexander Pricevic able to better Tapedi in the end and come across the line 5th. Miso Tapende in 6th place. So a little bit of something happened in that last lap. And Rory Sangmafisa rounds us out in 7th. Max Borshoff, unfortunately, unable to join because of connection problems. But Shan, like you say, you'll take that as a drop and see him back at round 2.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if I had to call a driver of the day, I would probably say Tekiso for that awesome comeback drive. Well, facing the wrong way twice on this track and had a lot to do coming back through the field in 2 different scenarios, getting himself up into P3. That was a great drive. Daniel Resende did nothing wrong in the start of this race. He kept his nose clean. He got the better of the exchanges up front, and he pulled away and he kept the gap. So well done to Daniel Resende, Ruvan Maritz, and Liam Tekiso. Gentlemen, we're going to close down the stream and immediately go into the driver's briefing for our seniors division. We'll probably start the seniors stream in about 10-15 minutes time. So don't go away for too long. Get your coffee, get your beers. We'll see you guys very shortly for the next race.